Welcome back to another edition of Suits Talk, Season 4, Episode 4 edition. I'm your host, Aaron, and as always, I'm joined by my swoopy-haired co-host, Nick. What's up, buddy?
Swoopy hair, man. We've had a week off. You still can't come up with an original nickname for me. I think that some things just don't change. Things just don't change.
I think we should just establish you as the swoop and me as the loof.
So, like, Team Swoop, Team Loofah?
No, I like just Team Loof.
Just Team Loof?
No,
well, guys, we have big news
Loof.
for Suits, but we have even bigger news. Last week, Aaron went to the beach, and he met Honey Boo Boo, child, and her family at the beach.
Yes, I did. Down in Florida, it was a great experience. They were staying at the same hotel as me. And
Honey Boo, I can't get over that. You know, we're based out of Kennesaw, Georgia, and where they live is maybe 2 hours away. So it's weird that they're that close, and the place you meet them at is in Florida at the same hotel. It just blows my mind.
They stay at that hotel every single year.
Really?
And we are already planning on going back for the 4th next year, so we'll see them again.
So
And
is it a pretty nice hotel?
It actually is. It's the shameless advertising. It's the Holiday Inn Resort on Front Beach Road in Panama City, Florida, and you know, the rate was pretty cheap. It wasn't like cheap, but it was a good price for, you know, the beach on 4th of July. And it was actually a very one of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed. And I haven't stayed in like super nice hotels, but
That's weird because I picture Honey Boo Boo being this like celebrity, being rich, but maybe they're just conservative with their money. I don't know.
well, they actually are very wealthy.
Really?
Yes, they make a lot of money.
Wealthy or just rich?
They're wealthy.
Oh,
But they I think wealthy is a step below rich.
really?
Wouldn't you? Yeah.
I think you
'Cause
inherit wealth.
You can have wealth.
You inherit wealth.
You can have wealth without being rich.
Back to Suits.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, so, yeah, Suits Talk podcast. We're here. We had a week off. We really missed the show.
We're back and we're supercharged.
Yeah, we didn't, we had a good rest. We didn't really tweet that much or anything like that, but it was, vacation time off, and there really wasn't that much to talk about. But now we're ready, and we want to see the rest of the season through. I hope there's no more breaks, but there probably will be.
Yeah, probably like 2 more breaks of like a week.
Before the end of the summer, yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, we have like a 4 or 5 month break. So
Yeah. All right. So we'll start this off like we always do. What did you think about the episode? Give it a rating.
7 out of 10. Better than mediocre, but not perfect. Not perfect. But very entertaining. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad we saw some stuff on the SEC front, because I know that was established in the first episode of 4 and was kind of discarded until now. But I'm glad we got to see some plot advancement on that front. That we got a new character, Sean Cahill, I believe was his name, that's actually taken on the SEC case. So it's actually become real. Okay, well, what did you think about the episode? Don't say 7.2 out of 10 again.
I actually was about to say, well, I give it a 7 point, and then I would see your reaction, but you mentioned it before I could do it. Okay. I'm giving this episode a 6.5.
6? Okay, why 0.5 lower than me? Is that because you just don't like me and you don't have to be
as you know, and the listeners know, Suits can only be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's just not enough range, So I give it a 6.5. I didn't really feel captured by this episode. I've kind of been a little tired since my vacation, but this episode, I just didn't feel. I mean, it's Suits, so I love it, but I just didn't feel as excited as I have for past episodes, and it just kind of dragged. There were some really good parts in it, but it just didn't really do it for me.
I feel like some of the dialogue felt kind of forced. Like, I know in the other episodes we've had some kind of natural exchanges, and maybe it was just this episode was kind of sloppy dialogue writing, but I felt like everything that was said was just like plot. It wasn't ever just fleshing out who these people are. And that's very uncharacteristic of Suits. That's not bashing Suits. I think they always do that, but I just kind of caught on to that. Also, something that sort of struck me when we first started to watch the episode, I don't know if I want to call it an epiphany, but what occurred to me is that being a lawyer or an investment banker isn't black and white. And until now in the show, we've seen it as black and white. We've only understood Pearson Specter as the good guys and the other people as the bad guys. And I know it's been toyed with that, well, sometimes Harvey breaks the rules and he's kind of a bad guy. But now that Mike and Harvey are on two opposing ends, we see both sides and we learn that there's no right and there's no wrong. Everything's very gray with law. And that just kind of hit me when I watched this episode, because we saw Mike doing shady things to Lewis. And you're like, oh, well, Lewis is going to, definitely retaliate. But is he rightful in that, And it just kind of came to me that it's not so black and white. It's not Mike's right, Lewis is right. It's that there's very much gray area. And that just blew my mind when I thought about it. What say you on that?
Well, when you told me that you had an epiphany and you said that you didn't think that you thought I was just going to be like, well, that's obvious. I think that's a very good, I've never really thought about it that way.
First from Aaron, admitting I'm right. I'm glad this is on podcast. Aaron won't ever admit I'm right ever again.
Well, good thing I'm editing this one.
I'm the producer, don't forget. Yeah, but is it very much gray? When I saw Mike do that thing with Sheila, first of all, it blew my mind that he would use that, and then we found out that he photoshopped it. So that's even stooping lower for him. But I think beyond that, what we've seen the last 3 seasons is Harvey and Mike teaming up, going against quote-unquote bad guys. But if we saw their stories, I'm sure we'd see as much of a person behind it as we see Harvey and Mike. And that just kind of clicked with me this episode.
Yeah, like if the show was about the characters that they were
right.
against.
And that's one thing, not to talk about another show, but I love The Sopranos because it's about a mobster and his mafia family, but you don't focus on the stuff he's doing bad. You focus on who he is as a person and how he deals with his family and his work and how he handles all of it. And you start to sympathize with him. You're like, dude, he's just a man, And that kind of happened for me in this episode. I thought Mike's doing shady things, but it's his job to do that. Vice versa for Lewis. And same can go for Harvey and Logan and all these people. And it just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, the whole black versus white thing kind of pertains to something I've been kind of mulling over for the last couple episodes. I like the dynamic that this season has, captivated of Mike versus Harvey and what we're kind of seeing with that. But I think, and I know we're only 4 episodes in and we're guaranteed at least 7 with Mike and Harvey against each other, but I'm kind of already over it. I'm ready to see Mike and Harvey on the same side again and feel like they're white. That's all, they're the white side and that's all we need. In this episode we saw, other than just the Mike versus Lewis stuff, Harvey was just it was just so dark, and he's just turned into Darth Vader since this season has started. And I just feel like, we all love Harvey, but it's like he's just descended into the darkness.
I think I definitely agree. I don't think there's a lot of plot to be had with Mike and Harvey. I think they're trying to draw it out as long as they can because it's, it's shocking and it's interesting to watch. And I agree, it's captivating, but I don't know if they can stretch it out 7 more or 6 more episodes now. That's a lot of plot to focus in on something that can be resolved fairly quickly.
Well, Aaron Korsh said that they were writing episode 7 and that they still hadn't come back together. So for all we know, in episode 8, they could come back together. So we're on 4 now. So
I don't know if I'd say I'm unhappy with the conflict, but I agree. It's getting kind of tiresome. I want something new.
It is a new dynamic. We've seen we've seen Mike and Harvey on the same side for, 3 seasons, but it's just kind of, that's what the show is about. And it's cool to see them against each other. But obviously it won't be over until the Walter Gillis thing is resolved. And it doesn't really look like there's an end in sight, but I don't know. I want Mike and Harvey to just give each other a hug and then go back to Harvey's apartment and, no, I'm just kidding. But
plot twist, bold prediction. Bold prediction.
But really, I just want them and Mike and Donna arguing with each other. I don't like it. I don't like all this hostility. And we're really seeing a firm divided is real because it's just Lewis and Harvey are on the splits, and Lewis and Jessica are on the splits, and Donna and Mike are on the splits, and Mike and Harvey are on the splits, and it's just everyone hates each other, and I want everybody to be a big happy family again.
Seems like everyone's pitted against each other in some way. even though Lewis and Jeff team up, Lewis still wants to team up and take Jeff down.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is a very different dynamic. I don't know how they're going to resolve it, but how about this? We've been, I'd say, overly critical of Lewis the last few episodes. What'd you think about him in this episode?
I think he was killer.
He was godly in this episode, if I can say so.
Godly.
Just the way.
Rate Lewis's performance.
Rate Lewis's performance out of 10?
Yes.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
It's not the most godly we've seen him, but this is what sells me. When Mike meets with Tony Giannopoulos and Tony Giannopoulos takes that offer and just stares at it once and hands it right back. Because he's already made up his mind before Mike even made that pitch. And I thought, something's got to be up. Maybe it's Harvey. And then he walks downstairs and he's pissed. And Louis Litt is sitting there. It's like, oh, hey, Mike. Funny seeing you there. And just the way he casually is like, hey, Mike, so I got back at you, man. Sorry. It was just so awesome to see Louis empower himself that way, you know, because I think he thinks of himself pretty weak. And he just had a lot of confidence there. It's pretty weird, but godly.
Man, Lewis, it's so weird because, like, a couple weeks ago, I don't remember what episode, it might have been last episode or it could have been the one before that, I kind of talked about how Lewis had no character and he was just the comedy, and now it's like the last 2 episodes with him has just been like straight, deep character stuff going on with him.
It's because Aaron Korsh answered your prayers. Aaron Korsh listened to Sue's talk, was like, man, Aaron's right.
These guys are right. Let's just make Lewis a more interesting character. Yeah, it's like this episode, we had a ton of emotions from Lewis. We had like confident and then like crushed and then confident again and then he's giddy and then he's like
depressed,
and it was just, and then at the end where he was just so like somber, man, it was just a lot of things going, and we are seeing without a doubt way more screen time for him than he has had in previous seasons.
Well, I think that's because he's the best written character on the show. I think I'm not sure if he's the best written character, but Rick Hoffman plus the creative team that comes up with the characters and the writing is literal perfection on TV.
You say best written character?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought he said best. I thought he said best ring character. I was like,
best written character. Well,
I
just
stopped
stopped
because
because
about some more like cinematography crap that I don't know.
Best written character.
Like the character is inside the ring of main characters. Sorry, I mean, I'm not like, oh my god, IMDb boards.
Best written character. Yeah, that's what I meant. For a second, I was like, is Aaron trying to like make fun of me right now? Because if I said something stupid, I'm never going to hear the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan of Lewis, but I don't know. Since I already gave it a 6.5, and I've been griping the whole time. Anyways, I'm just going to continue on my little rant wave. I want more Mike and Harvey, and just a little less Lewis. I complained about Lewis being the only comedy in the show, and now I'm just like, God, why is there so much development for this guy? I can't handle it. I mean, maybe just if they found a good balance. Did you laugh at all in this episode? Because I don't think I did.
I laughed when he found out Sheila was engaged, just because I thought that was funny for some reason. I don't know why that's funny, because it broke his heart. And I also laughed when it showed him laying down with that picture of her.
Yeah, I think that's just because you're cruel.
No, I think it's because it's funny. I don't think I'm cruel. I think it was supposed to be funny.
I think you're a cruel person.
Well, maybe you just don't have a sense of humor. Have you ever considered that?
I definitely have a sense of humor. Okay. That's why I'm the funniest guy that you know.
Second.
Who's number 1?
Myself.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so before we get off of the Lewis train, is there anything else for Lewis that you want to talk about? Some gripes, some compliments? You haven't complimented him in a while.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to ever again. But I have one more thing. Lewis in this episode calls Harvey his best friend, which, I mean, I guess we kind of already knew that, and it's weird because after that, there was some stuff where Donna kind of went and talked to Harvey and told him, well, when he was going to marry Sheila, you agreed to be the best man. And Harvey was just like, oh, crap, I did. And then at the end, even though Lewis made a grave error and Harvey was not happy about it. I still think maybe we saw the bond of love there, and then we're about to go back to Harvey's apartment. I'm just kidding.
Once again, plot twist: Mike and Harvey, and then Harvey and Louis on the side.
Anyways, yeah, I don't have anything else about Louis other than
I just want to say something real quick. When you said it was a grave error on Louis's part, I think Harvey overreacted. I think he acted like a big baby, and I think he didn't get his way, and Louis was the easiest person to blame. I don't think Louis was entirely to blame for that. Surely Mike would have found a way somehow. I don't think him saying the only thing investment bankers love more than, or enjoy more than their own money is to hold a grudge against somebody. I don't think that directly led Mike to the other guy. I think he would have came to that conclusion regardless.
I don't think he would have.
I think he would have. I think Mike's smarter than that.
Well, I think Mike, because a normal person wouldn't have heard that and instantly thought to go to somebody that.
Well, but is that entirely Louis's fault? Like, should that be burdened on his back entirely?
He shouldn't have even planted the seed in the first place. He was just gloating.
Yeah, but I mean, is it fair for Harvey to completely blame Louis?
Yes.
Completely.
Yes.
100%.
Yes, he should just fire Louis and have him off the show forever. Goodbye.
Okay. I will take that with a grain of salt, and we can move on from Louis, because I am going to get really heated when I disagree with you. I don't think that was entirely Louis's fault.
That was completely Louis's fault.
Okay, you're just going to keep pushing that button, aren't you?
I am.
All right, let's do something about... All right, so let's transition. Let's kind of flip it over from plot development-wise. And let's do, how about Logan and Rachel? What do you think is going to happen with them?
Well, it's funny because we have discussed previously how initially we thought that Mike could have something with his secretary, Amy, or his assistant or whatever.
I'm not sure why he ever would. I hate Amy.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Hate her.
Okay, shut up. So we thought that, or I thought that initially, and then last week we decided that, well, it looks like that's not going to happen, and Rachel and Logan are going to have a thing. Well, in this episode, it felt like they went into the episode with the idea of, let's put a rift between Rachel and Mike, and let's have Mike develop a good relationship with his assistant, and let's have Rachel develop a good relationship with Logan, because that is all that happened with them this episode. Rachel was with Logan for all of her screen time, and Mike was with Amy for a lot of his screen time, and we saw more of her in this episode, and she talked more in this episode than she has in the previous three combined. We learned a lot about her, and I think that now I consider it extremely possible that both of them happen. And before you say anything, because I see the words forming on your lips about how you despise Amy, this is my newest bold prediction. Rachel will sleep with Logan. Mike will sleep with Amy. They'll both find out, and they will forgive each other and be together at the end of the season.
So the dirtiness of each other's sins in their relationship will cancel out.
Yes.
It's like
there will be like a big fight or whatever, but eventually they'll reconcile.
It's like, I can't believe you did this, but I did it too, so I can't really complain too much.
I don't think it'll go down exactly like that. But
This is what I was going to say. Let's do this real quick. Just for Rachel, because I think she's kind of the central piece in this. I think we know more about her romantic life than we know about Mike or Logan or Amy, who's barely even a character. So let's do this. Ready? Just try to roll with me on this. A pro-con list for Rachel and Logan. Some pros. Why would she go with Logan rather than Mike? For one,
he's filthy rich.
He's filthy rich. Second, they've already had a past. 3, he isn't a fraud and he's not doing all this stuff, and he's not at ends with the place where she works. So how about some cons? What are some cons you can think of? Because I can think of very few cons. Yeah. Being honest. Being dead honest.
You could say that her history with him is a con.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could say he's untrustworthy and he's a liar.
And he also does not have nice hair.
I don't think Mike does either. It's all about the Harvey Specter hair, man.
You don't like Mike's hair?
Mike's hair looks like he's still a youngin'. Harvey has that sophisticated...
Look at his hair right there on the screen.
Yeah,
it looks awesome.
Dude, what do you think about Louis's hair?
That shiny bald spot.
Okay.
Can you stop? Look, have you guys noticed that over the last like 3 weeks, every time it's like, hey, let's talk about Lewis. Hey, let's talk about Lewis. Hey, let's talk. I think this guy has a man crush.
And like I said, he's just the most
Get him
interesting
off the show.
thing.
He's gone.
He's just the most interesting thing at the minute. Okay, so cons, we have her history. What about anything else? What is her reason?
I just told you his hair, man.
Okay, but on a real note, why would she stay with Mike over Logan? What?
Because she loves him.
She loves him, okay, but when it comes down to brass tacks, when stuff goes down with Pearson Specter and Mike's on the other end, how do you think that's gonna affect her? And she even told him in this episode, I don't like that you're all about winning, yada yada yada. I can see that.
And then he turned around and roasted her.
So. I know, but that's not healthy. I don't know. I think she has a lot of reasons to be with Logan. So do you think she's justified in that?
No, I don't. And she better not be. I'm going to be extremely pissed off if she does do anything with Logan.
Well, I mean, obviously the show must go on and that won't happen because the show would end without them.
This is not like the 1800s where it's like, oh, which suitor has the most to offer to me before I marry them? No. Mike and Rachel love each other and they should be together. End of story.
Yeah, but that money though. And the hair?
So I'm the only one with morals.
Oh my God. Anyways, so I'm not saying she'll do it, but I was really proud, I guess you could say, of her character for not kissing him back. I saw that he went in a good 80% of the way and she didn't complete the other 20. She just kind of backed away and said, no, I'm fine. I didn't think that would happen. As soon as I saw him just like sitting there face to face, I was like, this is where it's going to happen. And it didn't.
Well, it's weird. The preview for next week, there's a couple things about this that we can talk about. First, and in there, we see Logan whisper to Rachel, will you marry me? And my initial reaction was, oh gosh, but we're both pretty convinced that that is a flashback to when they were together before.
Well, because he did ask her to marry her, right? I think he asked her to marry her and she said no. Yeah.
He did?
Yeah, because remember, I think she explained that to Mike.
Yeah, so it's definitely a flashback.
Maybe.
It better be a flashback.
Dude, what if the first scene just opens, it's her like sitting there sleeping with Mike in the bed and he's just like, hey, Rachel, marry me. See the money, money. It just like Suit starts playing in the background. What would you do? What would you do? Stop watching the show?
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Suits Podcast.
I might just tweet from @Suits Podcast. Well, this was a good show. Bye.
Okay, so flashback. What about her going to the hospital?
Yeah, we also see her get hospitalized.
I wonder if that's going to be like a Lewis heart attack thing, or if it's just going to be like, you know, I fell and I tripped. And I hurt my knee. I'm at the hospital.
A chemistry lab explodes and she's disfigured.
What? Guys, that caught me off guard.
So now she's just like ugly.
In case you think we script our show, my reaction right there proves that we don't discuss what we're going to talk about. So she's going to be Harvey Two-Face versus Harvey Specter. Is that what you're saying? Harvey Two-Face versus Harvey Specter. Well, we're getting way off topic with this.
It's okay.
Okay.
We're good, man. We're good. I like it. All right. No, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. It's weird that, like, they showed us that she was going to be hospitalized, and they show like Mike sitting next to her and all this stuff, but we don't see her at all. That's what kind of prompted. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but that's what prompted me to say that. They would show her like laying in a hospital bed if it wasn't like a serious thing.
Well, I remember last time during the show they showed that promo for Lewis in the hospital bed and Donna sitting by his side crying, and you're like, oh my God, is he dying? But he's okay. Yeah. You know, I'm sure Rachel's going to be okay because, as you say a lot on the show must go on. Well, I don't think they're going to kill off her character. If that happened, rest in peace, Suits Podcast. I quit.
The writers of Suits are extremely good at like false cliffhangers. You know, like the end of season 1, the end of season 2. It's all just like and the ends of a lot of episodes and a lot of previews. It's like they hype up stuff that's like, whoa, like with the promo for this season with Rachel kissing Logan. We're just like, oh my God, she's kissing that guy. Well, it's a flashback. you know. And so it's just like they do that kind of stuff all the time just to screw with us. So she'll probably be fine. Watch, we're gonna be wrong. She's just gonna die next week, and we're just gonna be like, well, dang.
Her and Logan. No, he proposes to her. She says no, and he throws her out of her apartment window.
Okay.
Anyways,
we gotta stop with these.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I think next week's episode will be really good, though.
Well, before we talk about that, well, we already have talked about that, but let's talk about something that we mentioned. Amy, Mike's assistant. We saw a lot of Amy. Oh my God, we saw a lot of Amy this episode, like I said before, and I think I'm gonna start calling her Donna Jr.
And somehow I knew that was coming before you even said it.
The first note that I wrote for this episode, because the beginning of the episode starts off with Donna just going into Mike's office and roasting him,
just walking in,
putting him over the fire, and just and so. But it's cool because Amy meets Donna for the first time, and I wrote Donna meets Donna Jr. because. And
what'd you think
of course,
what'd you think of the
interaction?
interaction?
Huh?
What'd you think of the interaction between them?
I mean, it was minimal.
Yeah, but I mean, is she in the same league as Donna?
Well, not yet, but she will be.
I'm not a fan of Amy, and this is why I'm not a fan of Amy. It's not her, even though I don't think she's too attractive. If you listen to our discussion, I said she was really attractive, but I can promise you, those pictures I saw on Google were way better than her in the show. I don't think she's very attractive.
I think she's pretty.
Better than Donna?
Yes.
Oh, well, I was going to say point proven, but you just completely stumped me there.
I like Donna, but you just like think she's like a goddess, and I think she's a very pretty woman, Sarah Gafferty, but
it's the confidence.
But it just looks, I don't know. Donna's just a little old for me.
Oh, hater. Anyways, but I don't like Amy not because of that, because I'm not shallow, but it's because I think she serves no purpose. Like, what has she done so far?
Well, she helped Mike a lot in this episode.
Okay, this episode, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they have big plans in store for her. But as of the moment, she's not doing too much.
Well, per my extremely important, bold prediction, that is definitely going to happen. She will be an important character.
Yeah, I mean, I saw more interaction with her this episode, so if there's ever a possibility for what you said to happen, now would be the time. Because we've had actual interaction with her.
Okay, so let me ask you just like a question about the future.
Okay.
If Mike returns to Pearson Specter, does he bring Amy with him?
I don't think so.
She could just like be.
She
could be Donna's Padawan.
Maybe if the show takes a happier turn, but with the direction it's going now, I don't think Mike really cares about Amy. At least not to. Okay, if you're going to make the comparison that she's Donna Jr., Harvey and Donna have this respect for each other, and they kind of hold each other accountable, and they love each other in a very unique way. But I don't think Mike feels the same way for Amy. I think to him, she's just another assistant. It's
Harvey's been with Donna for like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's some time built into that, but I just don't see him being like, well, if I'm going to come back, that I got to take Amy with me, because that's what Harvey did. I don't think.
Well, I think that you're wrong, and I want you to keep the soundbite so that
Guys, I don't think Aaron ever thinks I'm going to be right. Every bold prediction, Aaron's like, no. No.
Bold predictions are stupid.
Ready? Wrapping things up. Let's do this.
Wrapping things up?
Lightning.
I still have 6,000.
Lightning round, though.
Lightning round.
That's what we're going to do.
We need a soundbite for lightning round.
That's what it needs to be.
Aaron's lightning round. All right. For those not familiar with Aaron's lightning round, I'm just going to throw out a couple things at Nick. Just a couple I'm just going to say one sentence or just a phrase. And Nick's going to give me his instant response to that phrase in relation to this episode. So we're just going to, it's a good
Strictly this episode only.
Yeah. We're just going to try to get through some smaller topics that aren't really worth kind of, having full discussions about. So Nick may have some for me as well. We'll see, but
maybe
we're going to start out with me. All right, here we go. Sean Cahill.
Kind of underwhelms. I pictured when they were talking about this SEC case and there's all these subpoenas coming, I feel like Sean Cahill That's it. Yeah, Sean Cahill was kind of underwhelming. I didn't think he was this really tough guy. He looked kind of weak. He acted kind of weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. My instant reaction with him was, holy crap, that's Dave from Desperate Housewives. And I hate him.
Aaron watches Desperate Housewives.
Watched. And it was a very good show.
Tell me, Aaron, what's been going on with Wisteria Lane lately, man? Tell me what's been going on with the characters over there.
Nothing. The show was over like 3 years ago.
Yeah, because it sucks.
It made it to 8 seasons.
Actually, I've always wanted to watch it, but
Terry Hatcher won a ton of awards for it. So, all right, Jeff lying to Jessica.
I'm not pro lying, but I didn't really think it was a big deal. I mean, obviously, it's something that he should have disclosed, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, he's on their side now. So
yeah, but he hurt their chances. He could have blown the whole thing if they have a great case, but
I think the fact that he came back to help them matters more than the damage that he did, if you know what I mean.
But he didn't come back to help them. He was screwed anyways, and then he decided, well, I'm just gonna use my relationship with Jessica to get a job there so that I have a job. That's pretty much what he did.
Yeah, but he's helping him out now. That's what I'm saying. I think that's more important than what he did in the past. You know?
Harvey's attitude.
Terrible. 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 I hate his attitude now. He's so quick to find someone else to blame. I don't think he finds any fault in himself. I think he's full of himself now. I think he's on top of the world, and he's just arrogant. And I don't really like who he's become. That's just me. And I know that you'll agree with me on that.
No, I love Harvey.
I love Harvey too, but I don't like who he's become in this cold kind of persona, you know?
Cinematography.
I didn't pay any attention to it.
I didn't pay any attention to it. I did.
Aaron's cinematography crap.
No. Anyways, yeah, this episode, and I pretty much said the same thing every week, but the show has, over the last 4 episodes, has just gotten darker and darker. There's more scenes going on at night, and at the end of the episode, right after Mike is like going back to his office or whatever, or leaving or whatever it was, it is really dark. There's just darkness everywhere. Like Mike's face is like half shrouded, and there's a lot of scenes with, both of the scenes with Harvey talking to Louis, once in Harvey's office and once in Lewis's office, both very dark, lots of darkness. Harvey's face is extremely shrouded. There's a lot of darkness, and it's just getting darker and darker as the season goes on. Crazy cinematography. Crazy, man, just crazy. All right, so I've got one more, and then we'll go to you. Ready?
Okay, ready?
Harvey and metaphors.
I'm getting tired. This man can't speak in a normal sentence. Like, he just can't say what he means to say. He always is like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. It's some complicated metaphor with some allusion to film or history or basketball. And it's like, dude, maybe if you didn't talk so confusing, people would get what you're trying to say. And I get that's the hip writing of Suits, but I like Harvey just to be normal and talk normal for once.
Okay, let's go back to you. Hit me. I got this.
Okay, lightning round questions from me. Here we go. First one. What did you think about that guy's $230 million?
Okay, well, the first thing that I thought of was that, wow, this guy has been in literally everything. I don't know the guy's name. What's that? Do you know that guy?
I don't know, but I thought the same thing.
He was in Batman. I don't know. He's been in legitimately everything ever.
Legitimately everything.
Yes.
Any TV show, he's there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I thought that Harvey is probably right, and Mike's going to get super screwed by him. And it's very evident when Mike said, well, I only need 80, and he's like, well, I'm giving you 230. Like,
it's a bit fishy.
Yeah, he's going to screw Mike over somehow.
It's a bit fishy that he would give $230 million to a essentially random guy.
Someone that he just met in a coffee shop.
But, if the guy's got billions, it's pocket change, I guess. Who wins?
We've done this like every week.
Doesn't matter. Who wins?
Mike.
Still? You still think Mike will win? Even though you just said Mike's going to get screwed by that guy.
Yeah, but Mike's already been screwed like 4 times this season. I think Mike will win.
Okay.
Okay, I think Mike will beat Harvey, but he will lose his job, and then he will
Come back.
Fair
enough. So, do you want Harvey to lose still?
I don't want him to lose, but I know he's going to. Because that just makes sense for the way the season has been going.
I think it makes good TV.
The only way to make Harvey lose some of that, well, not lose, but the only way to make him be more humble is for him to just get pooped on by his apprentice.
I think it'll knock him down, not just a few steps, but a whole ladder. I think it'll knock his confidence.
Whoa. Whole ladder.
I think it will. I think it'll be like a reality check for him. He's like, wow, I can lose. You know,
Mike just comes back to the firm, sweeps Harvey away, and
name partner
Pearson
Ross. Lit.
No lit. Oh my god.
I'm just kidding, man. I knew your reaction.
No lit.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's the end of the lightning round.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about generally before we sign off with some announcements and then close out with our really cool intro, which you should all stick around in here? Just kidding. It's not that great.
I have anything else for this episode.
I don't think so either. I think we covered it all. I'm excited to see what Rachel's going to be in the hospital for.
You're excited for Rachel to be in the hospital.
I'm excited
this guy is so depressing all dark. The time.
I'm so interested to see what it is. If it's something that could be like a 2 or 3 episode arc, she's in there, or it's just like, Mike, I fell out of my cab and scraped my knee. You know, I don't know. Who knows? But we'll find out.
But maybe Rachel will get it on in a hospital bed with Logan.
Dun, dun, dun. Once again, rest in peace, Suits Podcast. I'll quit the show if that happens. That'll be so. All right, so just some announcements. As usual, you can find us on Twitter at Suits Podcast, or if you want to search Suits Talk, you can find us that way. So follow us, subscribe to us if you like the podcast. Aaron, you got anything to add before you sign us off?
I'm thinking about, or I've been considering getting our podcast added to the Stitcher directory. I don't know if you know very much about it. I haven't talked to you about this before, but it just came to my mind. Okay. Stitcher is just a very popular podcasting service that is also available on Android, which is not something that you get with iTunes. And a lot of podcasts are adding their stuff to Stitcher now. So it's foreseeable on the horizon that we will be available on Stitcher. So if you have to like get on your computer or something because you have an Android device to hear us, you will tarry no longer, because we are going to make it so you can listen to us on Android devices.
And if that's something you want, just go ahead and tweet us or email us, or suitspodcast@gmail.com. Just try to get in contact with us and tell us, because if we have enough people doing it, then we'll definitely do it, you know. Other than that, just send some feedback. If you have any questions, we can address them next podcast.
Yeah, I know we actually, I told them last episode that we were going to ask for questions this week.
We forgot.
For the podcast, and I totally forgot.
Yeah, but, it's all that honey boo-boo, man. It's infecting you.
But I just have like tired mind, and plus I'm not even the social media guy. That's your job, so you should have been doing
I think it's that honey boo-boo. That's why you bought an above ground pool yesterday.
I did not buy an above ground pool.
I know, but you're
okay.
Anyways.
With that, I've been your host, Aaron. I've been, as always, joined by my poofy. Wait, is it poofy? Swoopy haired friend. But forget him. Always Team Loof.
Wait, hold on. How many of you guys would like to see a picture of the swoop and a picture of the loof?
Well, I'm going to get my hair cut next week, so we'll do it after next week.
Okay. All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I want to prove to the world that I'm not a swoopy-haired person.
You are a swoopy-haired D-bag.
All right, well, I'm done with this conversation.
Okay, so thanks for listening, and we love you, and we missed you guys, and we're glad to be back, and we hope there's 58 weeks straight of episodes so we can just talk about Suits. I love you. Goodbye. Did you take a picture of Harvey to your barber and tell him to try to make Harvey's hair? Yes or no? Don't lie.
No. But I did take a picture. And I don't go to a barber. I go to a salon.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't take a picture of Harvey because Harvey rocks that business cut, and I want a more like casual cut.
I was going to say, because if you did, your barber sucks.
Once again, he's not a barber.
know, but
corrected.
that